Well, hello there, Chick Chat. We have, missed a few months, but we're back with Story of the Week, trying to reintroduce that back into your lives.
Hey, I'm
So,
excited. It's been a long time since we've done a story of the week. Probably, what do you think, like a year?
no, it hasn't been a year. It's probably been like 6-ish months.
Well, we're back,
Yeah.
and I'm excited to be back. I think we have a good one for you today, according to Anne's face when she looks at it.
It's interesting. We're definitely coming back with a bang, with a banger.
Bang, bang.
It's going to be quite interesting. I am interested to see Brooke's take on this. I don't know if I can get through it completely, but
I forgot I usually need tissues for this because I will cry laughing.
well, I don't know how you're going to feel, honestly. And also, there was another story that's very similar to this. There's actually quite a few stories that were similar to this. So I didn't realize this was an ongoing issue.
Right. So in addition to this being so interesting, you're saying that you've realized in your research that this is a common problem?
I don't know how common, but it's common enough to where there's more than one story of it on Reddit.
I'm scared. Okay.
But this is an older one. It's from 6 years ago from Relationship Advice. It is titled, and this title will definitely give you a great idea of where I'm going with this story. My 23 female boyfriend, 25 male, wants to go on an annual gay-cation where he becomes gay for a week. Is this normal?
Wow.
Quite an intense comeback. So
I mean, like, what is gay? Like, sexually gay?
I think so. I'm thinking so.
Okay, so we can all go with that assumption that that's what we mean. Crossing swords. Okay.
Yeah, and I think this will make it clear as well, the story.
Wonderful. Great.
So it starts, me and my boyfriend have been dating for 1 year, but recently he suggested something that astonished and confused me. He wants to go on a 1-week gaycation with his best friend later this year, and he wants to make it an annual thing. I had never heard of this, but he tells me that it's when straight guys go on a trip and become gay for the duration of that trip and are straight again when they come back.
I just can't with the become. I have become gay.
And then I'm now become straight again. Yeah.
Okay.
He says that during this trip, he and his friend would basically look for guys to have intercourse with, but that it would.
I thought they just had a crush on each other.
I don't know. I'm sure if they can't find anybody, they might just. But who's to know? But that it wouldn't count because it would not be emotional, just physical, and that what happens on a gaycation doesn't count in the real world anyways. Naturally, I asked my boyfriend if he was gay or maybe a bisexual, but he acted offended when I said this and said it was just an annual 1 week for a bit of fun and that there was nothing gay about it. I guess that's not there. It's like you're asking for a gaycation and then say there's nothing gay about it. Just
you can't say no homo. I want to be gay. Okay, so he's denying that he's gay or bisexual. He wants to stay committed to being straight, but he is requesting a vacation where he becomes gay.
For a week. It says, especially since it's only for 1 week a year. And this is like annually. So it's like you're not even trying to just do this once and get it out of your system. You're trying to do this every year.
It's the only thing I look forward to every year.
Anyway, I don't know how to feel about this, and it has caused a bit of an argument with us. He insists that it's normal, and a lot of straight guys do it. This is my first serious boyfriend, and aside from this one new issue, everything has been great. Is it normal for straight guys to pretend to be gay for a week? And am I overreacting? Should I try to make a compromise? I'm very confused by this.
Oh my God.
I don't remember if it's in these comments or if this was a different one that I read, but in a different one that I read, he said that one of the reasons to do this is to support the LGBTQ community.
Be quiet. Just be quiet. Be all the way quiet.
I'm not in that community, but I don't know if they need your support in that way.
So, and that's why I cannot speak super confidently about how I feel about any of this. I mean, I can tell you my personal opinions, and of course I will, because that's what we're here to talk about. But I'm not gay. I'm not a man. I don't know what any of that is like. Obviously, it's more of a common problem than you and I would have assumed that it is, but I still don't know exactly how. Now, I don't know. I know lots of people go on boys' trips, right? Maybe they're just being more secretive than these other men are, and that's what they're doing on these boys' trips. I don't know, because I'm not there. But I know that sometimes people have kink, or you could have different kinds of things that turn you on sexually. But I think if you're not open to owning that part, you can't just say, I'm going to be this for a week and then not be this anymore, even if it's an annual thing. That's not how attraction and sexuality really works. Like, either you're attracted to that or you're not attracted to that, but you can't turn it on and off. You don't choose to be gay. You don't choose to, at least in my opinion, my views, whatever. So like, I don't like that he's not explaining himself more to say, this is a thing that I'm interested in, rather than trying to normalize it as if every straight man in the world is interested in this kind of thing. Because I don't think that's true.
This is a normal occurrence.
I'm not a straight man. I'm not a gay man. I'm not a man. So I don't know what their urges are that they maybe keep inside. But like, I don't think that this is a thing that the average straight man wants to do.
Yeah, I asked my husband a little bit about this because I read this yesterday to see what his reaction was. And I said, would you go on a gaycation? And he's like, what in the world is that? And I said, when you go somewhere and you're gay for the duration of the vacation and you hook up with other guys, and it doesn't count because what happens there stays there. And he said, absolutely not.
Of course he said, absolutely not.
And he is a straight man, and I believe him.
My husband has a really, really close group of 3 or 4 guy friends, and they like to hang out with each other. They're adults. They still have sleepovers, but like their wives are there and their kids are there. And it's not like that, right? It's just spending time. Unless I don't know, because I'm not there. I could not imagine, even with my husband, who is very social, very close with his friends, to ask me or be interested in that. I know when men get together, they act like idiots sometimes, and sometimes they act like they're gay, but I don't think that they actually want to go look for other men and do it.
Yeah, I assume it would be also considered cheating. You're still physically,
well, of course, unless she can go and do whatever she would like to do, and that doesn't have to mean being gay. Unless she gets her own weekend, I don't even think it's really fair. Anyone can make up any rules, boundaries, dynamics they want in their own relationships, as long as everyone agrees. But like, I would be requesting a stripper weekend with males everywhere. I mean, I don't think I'd actually like that, but I would be requesting something.
See, to me, this is like relationship ending, because I don't know how I could agree to going on a gaycation and then mentally know this is what you're preparing for, this is what you're packing for, you're buying flights and all that. Just for you,
me, it's not even the preparation; it's the after, when you return
home. Like the whole thing,
all disgusting. Yeah, not like, disgusting because you're gay, it's disgusting because you just went and poured yourself around everywhere.
Right. Well, and then you leave, and I'm sitting here thinking, like, okay, well, tonight he's probably with another man every single night of that week. Like, I don't know. My mind's probably going crazy, and then you come back, and I'm like, there's something different about you.
Yes.
Yes. I don't want to put my finger on it. Like.
I don't even want to touch it. No, I completely agree. I think unless you're in a relationship where those boundaries are already different than just a straight up monogamous relationship, it's going to be very, very difficult to tolerate your person leaving, being on that trip, coming back. I mean, if we're going to take this seriously and really try this on for size of what that would look like, I don't think anyone who's in a straight up monogamous relationship is going to be okay with that. Nobody realistically gets a hall pass or a weekend bullshit. That's not how marriages work. That's not how monogamous relationships actually work. I don't know anyone in the world who has true open weeks. Either your relationship is open or your relationship is closed. It doesn't matter if it's your annual week. That's not how attachment works. Like, you either really work on having an open relationship and that's like your relationship, or you don't work on that because you don't open it. I don't think there's a middle ground.
Well, and then to act offended when somebody asks if you are gay is just mind-blowing to me. I would be just as confused. You got to at least be bisexual for you to entertain that, right?
I think what that is definitely like internalized homophobia, because if you have any sexual desire towards the same sex, then you are in some shape or form like bi or, you know, gay or what. Like, obviously he's not gay because he's in this relationship or whatever, and I'm sure that they're having a satisfying time. I hope for them, but
you can be gay and be in a, you know, heterosexual.
Yes, no, I'm not saying it's impossible, but I mean, I'm gonna go under the assumption that this guy identifies as a straight man and probably has dated women most of his life, because he clearly is not open to accepting his other desires publicly. So to some capacity, this man is straight, and to some capacity, this man has desires for males, which would make you bisexual or something, like, I don't know, something. You're not just straight up straight if you don't just like women. I think that's the definition.
This reminds me of that show that TLC did a while back that I was texting you about a few weeks ago. My Husband's Not Gay. And it's basically about a group of guys in Utah that are attracted to men and talk about them being attracted to men, but they are married or in a relationship with a woman and they don't consider themselves gay. They call it SSA.
Call it whatever you want to call it, but we have current definitions for this, and it's called bisexual. Back in the way olden times, I know when men used to dress up as women and they used to have sexual relationships with each other way back then. And I'm sure they weren't calling themselves gay, but I don't know if anyone was calling themselves gay at that point. So I don't know. I think if you are attracted to the same sex to some capacity, if you're attracted to both sexes, to my understanding, you are bisexual or some other middle ground there. But if you're not going to accept that, then you have some internalized stuff going on, because that is the label. That just is how we all understand. If I said you're bisexual, that doesn't mean that you like garden greens. That means that you like someone, like that's the definition of the word. So if you are by nature, the definition of the word, you are hooking up with women and you are hooking up with men, then you are by definition bisexual. And if you can't take that in, then that's a problem with yourself, because you're doing the behaviors, but you won't call it what it is. What is the problem with you being bisexual or being gay? I mean, at least let's address that. If you're going to talk to your wife about these desires, let's not pretend that it's some random mask you're going to put on like it's Halloween weekend or something. That is not realistic. It's going to be hard to accept either way, right? That my husband wants to have this weird weekend or that my husband is bisexual. Either thing is going to be hard to wrap your head around and accept. So let's come correct and be honest about what the actual situation is, in my opinion. I would rather hear I'm bisexual, I'm trying to figure out how to make this work, than I just want to have a fun weekend where I can have a hall pass and I'm going to call it that because it's gay sex. Like that's not what.
And what happens there stays there.
Yeah, what is that? And it's like, I know I kind of jokingly said earlier, I'm going to need my own week or my own weekend, or I need to get something, but I can actually tolerate that in my life. I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, I get to go on a weekend for the spa so he can have his. No, that's weird. I'm in a monogamous relationship personally, so I don't care if it's a weekend or a day or whatever. That's not okay with me.
Well, and one, it's cheating. You can try to run circles around it, but that is cheating on your partner.
Unless you're in an open relationship, you're cheating, and then you're asking to cheat, and then you're
just asking permission.
Why she's upset? It don't make no sense.
And then two, like, I don't know if that's just something you can turn off. Like, you enjoy yourself for 1 week, and then you come back and you're straight again. Then you don't have the urge to do this for another year, and you want this annually. I feel like once you slip down that slope, it's a slippery slope.
I think that's a way to look at it. And I think maybe another way to look at it is like, maybe it kind of feels like when you do different positions, it's not like you need that same position every time, but sometimes it's nice to do once in a while. So maybe it feels kind of similar to that like can really try it on and off. But again, like that would be bisexuality, and that's okay. Like, you should own who you are if that's what your desires are. But yeah, I don't know if it's like I've done this, and so now it's something that I want to have more than once a year, or if it's like I liked that position and I'll do it again another time. Like, I don't know how much the urges are.
Right. Like, I mean, this might be a little bit graphic, but there are toys and stuff for that you might want to try out first. So you want to go straight from being straight to this, which makes me wonder, like, has he had these gaycations before this relationship? Because it's pretty bold to want to just go straight from the usual to a gaycation.
Agreed.
I like that there's a term for that, that it's that common. There's a term for it. So the top comment with 2,000 upvotes says, wait, what did I just read? This is so not normal, and I do not know any straight people who do this.
I don't know any straight heterosexual relationships who have this in their dynamic. I can't imagine people are out here talking about it if they are. Yeah.
Now said, he insists that it's normal and a lot of straight guys do it. 0 straight guys do it.
You cannot, by definition, be straight and want to do that. You can't. It's like saying I'm an apple when you're obviously an orange. I just don't get it.
Someone said, I'm over 40 and I know some guys that go on gaycation and they're all gay. All the power to them, but they are also in guy-guy relationships. He is lying to you.
Yes. And I want to be extremely clear. And there's nothing wrong with being bisexual, being gay, there's nothing wrong with any of those things. What's wrong is not being honest with your partner about what you are, who you are, what your desires are. And if your partner can help to fulfill those desires, or he's not being honest, that's the problem for me. I don't care if he's bisexual and he wants to go have a week with, strings attached. That's for them to decide. But he's not being honest, and that's weird.
Their comment says, the fact that he insists that he's still straight while he clearly is not is likely a sign of internalized biphobia-homophobia. He wants to be with you to be socially acceptable, but right now he's interested in a sexual relationship with a man. Also, is probably screwing his best friend.
Yeah. Agreed.
I mean, if the best friend and him sat there one day and were like, let's go on a gaycation, you have to assume that they might have done something before to where that conversation, I mean, that just doesn't come up in a group of men usually. I've seen men plan trips many times.
Yep.
Ski trips, a couple men together, like, oh, we should go on a vacation. We should go do a guy's trip. But you never hear them saying, like, let's go on a gaycation. Although I don't know if they would say that in front of a group of women, but I'm sure a few of us would turn around and be like, what?
Unless like these are code words, right? That they're keeping really, really close to the chest and no other women know about. But yeah, I mean, men plan trips around like bachelor parties and golf outings and skiing and like sports and things like that. I mean, they don't just go like back up in an Airbnb to try to get other men. I don't think. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, there's people out here.
So this comment was crazy, and I feel like I should read it just because I don't know. But this person said, and this is a long comment. They said, last weekend, I accidentally paid $40 to attend a gay orgy. Met a few guys at a strip club from out of town, and they said that they heard about this all-night club, and it's all you can drink. So I'll admit I was pretty drunk, so I figured, why not? I didn't really know what to expect at an all-night club. And get in and grab some drinks. Some guy starts chatting me up, and I thought, oh, this is great. I'm making friends. He asked me if I wanted to go to the VIP upstairs. And I said, absolutely. We get upstairs, and this is no exaggeration. I see a minimum of 50 guys blowing each other and engaging in.
It's the back room. Duh. Yeah. You didn't know you were going in the back room.
He says, turns out I'm at a gay bathhouse, and that fronts as an EDM party. I stop in my tracks and immediately go back downstairs. I take a look at the dance floor, and it's a bunch of shirtless men grinding on each other. There were some women there, but they were few and far in between. When I then had to urinate, so I go to the restroom. Guess what's going on in there? Yep, more. So I'm in a pickle. This is like 4 a.m. at this point. What do? I text my girlfriend who is out of town and tell her this is unbelievable story about where I was. I was torn whether or not to leave because in my mind, yeah, this is a gay orgy, but this is an all-you-can-drink gay orgy.
Oh my God.
Right now, I have no clue where it's better to be. Luckily for me, while I was in line for more drinks, I befriended a heterosexual couple that was also misinformed about where they were going. We buddied up and hung out for a few hours and just kind of took in the absolute hilarity of what was going on around us. We even ventured to the dance floor just to observe this once-in-a-lifetime experience up close. Obviously not a gaycation, but definitely the gayest thing that my straight ass has ever been involved in. Someday, if I ever run for public office, this is going to be a fun one to explain. It really wasn't what it sounds like. I was lied to by some guys at a strip club. Also, my girlfriend is a big kick out of this whole thing. Afterwards, I looked up the place and found a nice Vice article about it.
Cool story, bro. Thank you for sharing your story. And I think that the he said actually happens a lot more often than this whole gaycation thing. I think people do stumble into room types of situations that are not advertised out in public, and there are innocent people, and I don't mean innocent like pure, but I mean they're ignorant to what can happen in the world sometimes. And if you're so innocent and you walk into some kind of bar and people seem really friendly, if you don't have some level of like street smarts or suspicion or knowledge that these kinds of places exist in the world, then you can easily be taken there. And I think a lot of people's intentions aren't bad either when they try to lure people in. I don't think it's like as dark, scary as a lot of people make it out to be. I think there's a lot of consent involved in things usually in these kinds of situations, but I can see how people mistakenly, they hear things, they hear that it's a gay bar, that it's this, that it's that. But if you don't know these things exist, you don't know they exist. So you don't think of the actual possibilities of what's going on. I think this guy's story is way more common than this gaycation situation.
True. I can't believe there's more than one post about it, but I do think that that's true. I do think gaycations happen. Obviously, I think it's obviously like the comments are saying, like closeted person or somebody who's just ashamed of being who they actually are. I would say to OP is, it's only been a year and you're 23. I think you could just wash your hands of this and find just a regular straight guy if that's what you're into. If you're not into this,
I know it's husband, but yes, I know it didn't say that in the beginning. And yeah, this is a 1-year relationship. Like, just don't engage in that. Unless I would give this guy one more shot. Like, you're really in love, I would sit down again and I would say, listen, it sounds to me like you're bisexual. It sounds to me like you have these sexual needs. Clearly, I can't meet them for you. If this is the only way that you can get them met, let's have a conversation about it. Let's see if there's a way for me to be okay with it and a way for you to be satisfied and get your needs met. And if there's not, and if you can't own up to who you are and be honest about who you are, then I can't be in a relationship like this because you clearly can't navigate boundaries. Like, I would at least give maybe one more opportunity if I feel like I could try to wrap my mind around that. But if you can't, you can't. Like, there's no shame in that either. This person is bisexual. This person has internalized homophobia, and they're not even willing to admit to their own selves what their needs are. So that doesn't speak highly for how to deal with needs and issues in the future.
You don't want to waste all your time and then marry somebody and bring kids in just for later this to come up again and be like, yeah, I go on these gaycations, I just don't tell you about it, or whatever the case is. I kind of want to know who somebody is up front, which I'm glad that this person did ask their significant other or bring this up, because he could have just been like going on a boys trip every year.
I'm never gonna let my husband go on a boys trip the same way. I mean, he's still gonna go because I enjoy when he's gone. But I mean, I'm just gonna be like, what? I need a FaceTime right now.
It's the itinerary.
Yeah. Like, what are you guys doing?
Send me the itinerary. Yeah. I doesn't really go hang out with a guy for a day or something, like go play video games or have a drink or something, but he always comes back home. So he's not really been on many guys' trips. But now I think I would have to ask at least a couple questions. Although there's a lot of straight guys that get uncomfortable around that kind of stuff. So, and my husband's one of them that gets pretty uncomfortable. If a man is making a move on him or something, he will get really uncomfortable, almost angry, and leave, because he is fine with that's how you want to live your life. He doesn't have a problem with that, but he doesn't want it on him because that's just not what he's attracted to and whatever. So that's kind of how I usually view straight men, especially. I mean, women are a little different, but yeah, I can't imagine the day my husband comes up to me and asks me for a gaycation is the day where I'm like, well, how much of my time have you wasted, sir? Like,
I mean, and that would be so unlike who you know your husband to be, right? And so I think especially for you guys, it would be such a departure from what you know. It'd probably be hard to trust anything that he ever says again, because
or anyone.
Like, yeah. I was also thinking when you were talking too, I have been in situations, not recently, and my husband isn't like this, and I'd probably never date a man like this because they're weirdos, but I've been in situations where guys will make offhanded comments about girls' trips like that. Oh, you guys are all just scissoring together, and like just these weird, stupid types of guys, right? I wonder if those guys are coming up with that, because I don't know of any girls' trip where we just sit around and
I've never heard that before.
Of stuff to do. I wonder if those are the guys that are going on gaycations. Like, it's one of those projection things.
Could be, honestly, probably, because I've never heard of that before. No one's ever said that to me before.
You know who has said that? Like, who I vividly remember saying that is, and this guy was a narcissistic, abusive, cheater, crazy guy, but my ex-stepdad. My mom has this really close group of girlfriends. They have Christmas parties every year. They run Airbnbs. They have a great time. And he would get so jealous and so irritated. And he would literally be like, you guys are scissoring all weekend. You know what? That man was out every single weekend cheating on my mother with another woman time after time after time.
Wouldn't be surprised to hear if he was on a gaycation.
It's usually the men like that, right? Who are projecting weird behavior on other people that are the ones that are doing the weird behavior.
Oh, I could see that. I can see that for sure. Yeah, I've never heard that about a women's trip. Sometimes women will be a little bit more touchy with each other. I've seen girls like kiss and stuff, but not like full blown, Yeah.
That's also not the purpose of the vacation either.
No.
I've seen the same thing. Girls could get like touchy or whatever. Not since high school when we're trying to make out for boys to make out.
Like our friend Carly likes to cuddle, but that's
this is actually a great example. Our friend Carly does like to cuddle and she does get really touchy, but she never shows up for the purpose of touching her friends. She shows up for what we're doing, right? And then in the process, she's just part of her.
It's just a bonus.
Yeah, like it's not like I'm going to my gaycation to touch everybody. Like, that's not.
Now, if she knows she's spending the night somewhere, she will ask who's cuddling with her.
She does like to know ahead of
she
time.
likes to know who's going to be down for that. Yeah. But there's people like me who don't like being touched at all, so I'm like, absolutely not. But teach their own.
Hannah always sleeps on the couch where no one can touch her.
Sometimes even just like the footstool, like the ottoman.
So really nobody, like just so nobody else sleeps on the other side of the couch.
Yeah, I'll be on the ottoman sometimes.
I've seen
Yeah.
you curled up on the floor. You'll sleep wherever.
In a corner of the floor sometimes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like
I don't like being touched like that, so it's just not me, but I don't care if Carly wants to cuddle with someone else. I ain't gonna look at it and be like, "Oh my god." It kinda reminds me too of when I was younger and I go out to the bars and stuff. There was this lesbian girl that had a crush on me and everything, and she knew I was straight or whatever, but she still had a crush on me to where, like, when I would walk in, she would get all flustered and stuff, and I'm like, "Girl, it's fine. Don't worry. It's just me. I'm a normal person." I remember there was one time at the bar where she openly proposed to me, and people were kind of like oohing and ahhing about it. And I was just laughing. I kind of played it off and I was like, yeah, whatever. But my friend's like, she's straight, right? She's pretty straight. And she's like, oh, so is spaghetti when it gets wet. And I kind of feel like that translates here. Once you're straight like spaghetti and you get wet, you can't just re-straighten it. It's not easy. You can't just undo that, especially on a gaycation.
Right.
You can't just come back the same spaghetti.
I could see that. Definitely. I think that that's a possibility. But, I also don't know. A lot of people will say I'm not gay.
A little
so I don't know
sticky
what
in
it's
it.
like to have that urge.
Maybe sometimes it's just like you need the experience to get over it. Because I know there are a lot, especially female, who will like do the experimental thing, and then they're like, "Yeah, I actually want a family and a husband and a this and a that. This is just for experiment."
The age that they're in is kind of an experimental age. It's possible that maybe he's bisexual, and I'm not allowing him enough space to have a process to come to that conclusion himself. And so maybe he is kind of trying to experiment.
But I feel like again, be single and go on your
be single or be really upfront. It is possible to be in a relationship and have other situations. I'm not saying it's common. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not recommending it. But I do know that it's possible for people to make all kinds of agreements within their relationship as long as people are okay with it. It's possible. But yeah, I think if you're exploring in your early 20s, why would you want to tie yourself down like that? Why not be able to go have a gaycation every other weekend if that's what you're wanting right now? That's totally up to you. Just don't lie to someone about it and act like it's
drag them along. And especially if you have to do this annually. Like, you're going to be doing this annually every year for how long, sir? I couldn't imagine just asking somebody for an annual vacation that has no end in sight. Like, this isn't just a one-off. You're saying this is going to happen every year, and you're just going to have to look the other way and act like nothing's changed.
For me and my relationship, it could never work. I don't think it could even work in this person's case because the guy's not being honest, or he doesn't know himself well enough yet to be honest. And I don't think either one of those cases are conducive for a positive, healthy relationship in your early 20s.
And I will say the other story that was similar to this was from around a year ago, I guess. The original post was November 27th, 2024. And these were 40-year-olds. So that's premature. But the title of that one, I'll at least read that. It says, my 42 female husband, 42 male, has informed me of his intentions to go on a gaycation with his brother-in-law, 35 male, in Ibiza. How do I handle that?
Ibiza. How do I handle that? This man didn't even ask. He just said, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to Ibiza and I am leaving you behind. And I'm going to do all kinds of things.
And he had similar reasoning. He said the same thing. It's just where they become gay for the duration of the trip. But that's fine because it doesn't actually count, because what happens on the gaycation stays on the gaycation.
Is there a website or a club somewhere where they're all learning this information? Because that's just not how the definitions of these words work, okay? We have monogamous relationships, we have open relationships, we have poly relationships, we have gay people, we have straight people, we have bi people. We don't have try it on for a week and unbecome it. That's not how those things work. I mean, I know I probably sound like I'm being a stickler for labels and definitions, but like the meaning of words is literally how we communicate and understand each other. I don't like it.
And then she also asked the question of, are you gay?
Why are you gay?
Like, are you gay? Are you bisexual? Because if it's a yes, that's okay. You can figure out what happens going forward.
What are the new boundaries? The new boundaries cannot possibly just be that you go to Ibiza every other year or whatever and become gay and unbecome gay. That's not how that works. That's not how any of this works.
And with your brother-in-law, it sounds like it was his sister's husband that he's going on this trip with.
I don't care.
And that's even worse to me than your best friend, because that's basically your family.
I mean, they're all doing weird stuff either way.
He said, okay, you're going to like this. I'm going to read an excerpt. So I said, well, do you think you're bi maybe? And he got very defensive, saying how I need to drop the accusations. And that is the beauty of the gaycation. It allows straight men to experience gayness without actually being gay. And how it's like going to the aquarium.
It is not like going to the aquarium, sir. Excuse me? You don't go to the aquarium and become a fish and then leave and grow your lungs back. Okay. Do you know why? Because we have definitions of things like fish who have gills and humans who have lungs. And it's the same damn thing. When you're straight, you like the opposite sex. And when you're gay, you like the same. And when you're bisexual, you like both. But we don't grow gills and then ungrow gills in the aquarium, sir. We go in the place that has oxygen to watch the things that have gills. Okay.
And to get into the aquarium part, she says, I see a lot of people asking about the aquarium, and at risk of doxing myself, there's a pretty famous aquarium in the UK called the Deep. At the very end, you walk through the tunnel that goes underneath the main fish tank. So it's quite immersive, I suppose. My husband explained the aquarium thing in that it's a bit like that. You go there and you observe the fishes. You even get a bit up close, but you never actually enter the water, get emotionally invested, or become a fish, gay. So it doesn't really count. It's just a very bizarre analogy. And I pointed out that it still makes 0 sense. And he just got more in a huff and how I just don't get it. And frankly, I still don't.
Agreed. I completely agree. If someone, even with my words right now, if somebody in person were to come to me with this aquarium BS, like this is probably the craziest thing I've heard more than the gay-cation is to try to compare it to walking inside of an aquarium.
Well, there was a whole third post where a guy likened it to supporting the LGBTQ community.
Yeah, no.
Not supporting anybody.
Sorry, if you cannot identify your own sexuality outside of being a straight heterosexual male, then you are not supporting anything.
Well, if anything, that'd be confusing them. You lead them on for a week, just throw them back in the water. Yeah, there were some of them. I couldn't believe what I was reading. I couldn't believe how many posts there were on Reddit about this. So y'all be careful out there. Know who you're with, for sure.
I asked my husband if he's ever heard of this.
What did he say?
He said, no, what the fuck, LOL. I said, apparently it's a thing, ? And they also claim to not be gay. He said, never heard of it. Sounds gay to me. 100% gay.
This would have been a good one for guys' night, I think.
Tell the chick chat I said so.
I would love to see this on a guys' night. I probably should have saved it for that.
Oh, that is a good
I can only imagine the reaction.
I mean, we got the reactions. We asked the husband, so.
They were not about it. Mine was very adamant too that that's not what straight people do at all.
See, and my husband is a little more, I'm not going to say like open sexually, but likes to make gay jokes with his friends. He calls his best friend baby girl. They're more flexible, I guess, with that. But again, like there's gay and then there's words. There's drugs I've been curious to try but never did.
That's experimenting.
Right.
That's more or less experimenting, I guess.
That's a good point.
For me right now, like if my husband wanted to be on a gay-cation, he could. I mean, he's surrounded by a bunch of men in the military, but he's definitely
maybe that's what's going on.
I definitely don't see him doing that. If I was even gay, I would feel almost annoyed by people, doing that. Like a gay, like
that's what I mean. I think it's not supporting the LGBTQ community in any way. And I'm not saying that that was their goal, but yeah, I think it actually pushes a narrative that it's something that you can turn on and off and choose. And at least in my understanding and my beliefs, you cannot. And from the gay people that I know, it's not something that they chose. It's just something that you feel. It's attraction. It's not very easy to explain.
Well, and what? So you go through this gaycation and then you have to just wait for the next year and just like think about what happened last year.
The more I think about it, the more I think I'm minimizing it when I think of it as a sexual position that you could just try whenever you want, because I think it is more than that. So yeah, I don't know how you can just kind of turn that on and off. I don't think you do. I think that guy is lying to himself.
But his search history tells a different story.
I don't want to see that.
I bet it would prove a point. If I was his girlfriend, I'd want to see that.
No, I would not.
Well, at least it would answer my questions. I'd be like, what are you looking up, sir? So this way,
personally, I wouldn't want to see it. I wouldn't want to see proof. Like I have enough for this man has come to me and had a whole conversation with me about his desire to. And so I don't want to see his search history because I don't think I come back from that. If you leave and do it on the weekend and we have an agreement and I don't have to see it or I can find a way not to think about it. But man, you can't unsee like a real nasty title. Like, every time I look at him, I would think of that title. Like alien man.
I mean, my advice for OP would be that you're young and there's so many other fish in the sea. And if you want to have another conversation about it, get a little more clarity, more power to you. But I don't really know how you come back from this if it's not something you are interested in I mean, this guy seemed to have lured you in a year deep before even asking you this kind of question, when he knew he could have probably asked you this question last year and you wouldn't have went on a second date. So it's a little trickery going on here. I would probably throw that fish back in the water.
Agreed. If I felt like I could tolerate it, if I really thought this man was the one and there was no other human that I wanted to ever think about living my life with, I might try to sit back down one more time and see if he can figure out what's really going on and try to come to an agreement. But again, like, that can't be an agreement for everybody. I don't even know if that could be an agreement for me. I just know I would probably want to try to figure out exactly what's going on before walking away. But I don't think I can tolerate what he has presented to me now. That's going to be a no-go. We're either going to have to clarify this more and come to a better compromise solution, or break up.
What if he stands down? Now this is in your head. This is what he really wants to be doing.
Totally. That's what I like. This needs another conversation. You are not just coming to me and saying, I'm going on this gaycation and we're not going to talk about it anymore, because something has gone awry from the way that I thought that it was. Like,
something's afoot.
Something is going on.
I would definitely count my blessings that I'm 23 and not married to this man or have children with this man, that I can just wash my hands of it, find somebody who's not desiring other men, and move forward with my life. Because the other poster, the ones I was reading excerpts from, she was in her 40s, or I believe, and has 2 children with the man. And then how you navigate that. That's a little stickier. Right. So it's a sticky situation regardless. And much love to the LGBTQ plus community. This hopefully was not offensive to you. And if anything, I would be offended that straight men have the audacity to try to pull this off.
So true. Yeah. I want to be clear, like I was earlier. There's nothing wrong with being gay. There's nothing wrong with being bisexual. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong also with trying to figure it out. And so I could be being too hard on this guy and not letting him have his process. But
to me, your process is fine as long as you don't involve other people and drag them through the mud.
Well, and I guess as I'm saying that too, even if you're going through a process or questioning or exploring and you don't know, you can at least be honest about that. You shouldn't turn around when someone asks, are you bisexual, and completely deny it, because obviously something's going on. You should at least be able to have the self-awareness to say, I don't know what's going on, but this is what I want to do. So yeah, I just don't like the lack of awareness for me, and it's not going to get any better.
Okay, I agree. Very much agreed. Well, there is no, am I the asshole? But I would say this dude is the asshole. We always like to kind of throw that in there. I would like to say he's the asshole for a plethora of reasons. This was a while ago. Hopefully they're not together anymore. OP doesn't have their account. They got rid of the account. There is no replies. There's no updates. So we're just left with this story. I would like to imagine that she had another conversation and then was like, okay, well, this isn't really going to work for me. And then dude went on his little gaycation and they're not together, and he's found him.
Maybe he met up with other dude in Ibiza 5 years later and they just live there now.
Yeah. Maybe he's now openly gay.
Actually, yeah, I hope that for him, or at least openly bi. I want everyone to be able to get their needs met in any way that they want to, but I think you need to be honest with your partners.
Honesty is the best policy, according to Abraham Lincoln. So
and we'll leave you all with that.
We'll leave you with that. So thank you for joining us, Chick Chat. We're happy to be back with our story of the week.
Good one. Thanks, Miss Ann.
It's quite the cannonball. We just jumped right back in. Remember to like, subscribe, and share, and also to reduce, reuse, recycle, Rihanna, and goodbye, and be careful in them aquariums.
Yes, don't go in the aquarium.
Careful. It's a little fishy in there.